I'm going to share with you an idea called hack number 10, the 360 spreadsheet. This comes from the book called Hacking Education, 10 Quick Fixes for Every School by Mark Barnes and Jennifer Gonzalez. Hack number 10 is a way to collect and organize and use information about your students in order to build better relationships and get to know your students, which will help them be a more engaged student. So the idea with hack number 10 is if you use a Google form, this is the easiest way, and you can watch YouTubes about how to use these Google forms to create surveys, and then your students can fill it out electronically, and that will dump it all into a spreadsheet for you so you don't have to type all those answers in there. So, and then in your survey, you're going to want to ask your students questions to get to know them better. So some suggested things that you might want to know is, one, what are they passionate about? What are their hobbies? Do they collect anything? Is there something that they're just really obsessed with that they enjoy doing? So you want to know those things. And then you can use that information to help you as a teacher. You can select books or suggest books to your students that they may be interested in reading based on what their interests are. It can help in selecting topics for a writing or a research project. And it can also help your students better understand math or history concepts by putting them in the context of things that they're interested in, and then that'll deepen their interest as they're trying to learn difficult material. Also, you want to know about their family, whatever they may have special situations that they want to share or things that they have to do, activities that they're involved in outside of school or in school, and then academics. For example, the student may tell you, I have a hard time with handwriting, or I really prefer to work alone. Or maybe they have a really strong interest in a specific subject area. So you want to know that. And when you're teaching, observe your students. Do they just light up during certain activities? If so, you want to make note of that and add that to their spreadsheet. What are their favorite foods and drinks and snacks? Do they have any allergies that you need to know about? Or do they have physical concerns? Maybe that you have a student that gets cold really easily, or they may have physical issues. They need to go to the restroom more often. Maybe they're diabetic. These are things you need to know so that you can be in tune with how your students are acting or reacting. What special skills do they have? Do they take lessons? Do they play certain musical instruments? Maybe they live on a farm and they know a lot about gardening and growing things, or photography, origami, any variety of interest. And then knowing that can help you later when you're working on special projects, and you can tap into those student interests and strengths and skills that they have. And then you might have an other column that they may want to share with you other things. Maybe they're sensitive to certain things. Do they have certain religious practices, or maybe they've lived in another country? So these are just all kinds of things that you can find out by a simple survey. And then, okay, what do you do with that once you've collected all that information? We can get really busy and caught up in the day-to-day activities of going about our business, and that sheet end up in a drawer and you forget about it. So here's some ideas for how to use that information. So once you've captured it in a Word doc or Excel, however you keep up with it, you've got to have a record of what they've shared with you. So number 3 here, each student will have their own row with their name down the side, and then across the top you'll have the column headings such as family, activities, interests, skills, and so on. And then number 4 says, use and maintain the data all year long. So how do you do that? Well, here's your challenge. Number 5. Over the next few days or the first weeks of school, once school starts back up, You want to find and use at least one fact from each student's row in a conversation with him or her. So in other words, let's say you have a student that said they love soccer and they're on a soccer team. Then you want to mention that in a conversation, like, hey, Sally, I noticed that you're on a soccer team. Did you see that World Cup match on television last Saturday? And just to make a connection and to show them that you're interested in them and that you paid attention to what they told you. Then number 6 is a great suggestion. Use a highlighter each time you use one of the facts on your sheet, and that way you can keep up with which ones you have commented on or made a connection with, and it'll help you see who you haven't spoken to. And then keep that in your teacher planning book, and then every week, number 7, refer to this document weekly as you're planning your lessons for the following week. And that way you don't miss anyone, and you're consistently reviewing what their interests are and who has certain skills, etc. And then finally, number 8, even though the students gave you this information, they're going to be shocked when you use it in a conversation with them. They'll be shocked that you remembered or cared enough to say something about it. So I hope this strategy is a way to help keep you organized and make connections with your students, because when you're connected with them, their level of engagement will go up and they'll participate with you more cooperatively.